Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Hey, you know, one of the issues that we've talked about occasionally on this channel is the strange intersection between drug use and those who want to possess or actually do possess firearm. And most frequently, we talk about it in the intersection between states with legalized cannabis and people who want to also possess firearms. And one of the things that it ultimately comes down to is that dreaded question, section 21 on 4473, where it asks you if you are addicted to or an illegal user of any controlled substance as defined by the Controlled Substances Act under federal law. And of course, we have told you time and time and time again that you cannot lie on a 4473 unless you want to go to prison, or unless, of course, you're the president's son. Well, as we know, there was an incident which is pretty well documented now that the president's son, Mr. Hunter Biden, actually did lie on a 4473. And is it possible that he might be charged with a crime? Well, it is, but suddenly there seems to be a huge change of tune coming from those over in the White House, especially from Mr. Biden Jr. So today, let's spend a few minutes and talk about Meet Hunter Biden, suddenly a huge fan of the Second Amendment. Okay, so as we know, there is, and it is well documented, strong evidence to believe that the President of the United States' son, Hunter Biden, lied on his Form 4473 to obtain a firearm where he stated that he was not an illegal user of controlled substances as defined by federal law, and obviously obtained a firearm which he himself has documented for the rest of the world to see. Now, as we also know, if we get caught lying on a Form 4473, no matter who we are, if we get caught lying on a Form 4473, we face up to 10 years in prison. That is the case for each and every one of us, except apparently for Mr. Biden. Now, as we also know, House Republicans are really going through the entire Biden regime with a fine-tooth comb and overturning many things, including a lot of activities related to Hunter Biden. Now, let's go back in our time machine for a moment. Let's go back to last summer. As we recall, there was a huge landmark decision that came out of the United States Supreme Court called New York Pistol and Rifle Association v. Bruen. And we have geeked out on that case on video after video after video, but it was a landmark decision if you are interested in the advancement and preservation of a person's Second Amendment rights. If, however, you are on the left, which is a side that does not particularly support one's Second Amendment rights, you were outraged by this decision. And President Biden himself made multiple criticisms of the Supreme Court, and many other on the left made significant criticisms of the United States Supreme Court, calling them a renegade court, an out-of-control court, a court that was going to make all of our streets more dangerous, and on and on and on. So let it be clear. The record will show that everybody on the left, including everybody in the Biden administration, was critical of the United States Supreme Court following the Bruen decision. Now, we have also talked about what happened after the Bruen decision, which was two phenomena. The first that occurred was what's called the post-Bruen tantrum. That is when many states on the left, very blue states, decided to completely flip out, throw their middle fingers at the United States Supreme Court, and then pass even more restrictive gun laws than the ones that had previously been struck down. That was then followed many months later by what we're now going through, which is called the post-Bruen Enlightenment. Now, when we see the post-Bruen Enlightenment happening, what typically is that now we are going back and taking a look at what we thought was well-settled case law as it relates to other types of Second Amendment restrictions, and we're viewing it through the prism of the new rule of law. And we're beginning to see instances in which laws which have been in existence for 10 or 15 years, which previously survived challenges, are being re-challenged, and the courts are entertaining that. Now, the accusations against Mr. Biden is that he lied on a Form 4473. And of course, that is based on the fact that under 18 U.S.C. Section 922, Section G, it is unlawful for a person who's using illegal narcotics to possess or purchase a firearm. The actual statute reads, "It shall be unlawful for any person who is an unlawful user of or addicted to any controlled substance as defined in Section 102 of the Controlled Substances Act, 21 U.S.C. Section 802. to ship or transport in interstate or foreign commerce, or possess in or affecting commerce any firearm or ammunition, or to receive any firearm or ammunition which has been shipped or transported in interstate or foreign commerce. Okay, so you can see that you don't even need to be an addict of a controlled substance. You can be a mere user of a controlled substance, and therein lies the rub for a lot of medical and otherwise cannabis patients, okay? But here's the thing. We know that these laws are being revisited and challenged again under the Bruen. Of course, this is by people who are advancing gun rights. Now, no one in the Biden administration or the Department of Justice would ever advance such a legal theory, would they? Well, actually they would, you see, because Hunter Biden's legal team has already stated that if in fact he is indicted on lying on a Form 4473, their defense is going to be that 18 U.S.C. Section 922, Section G is in fact unconstitutional per the holdings of Bruen. So the very case that the Biden administration was completely crapping their pants over and calling the court out on is the very case that Hunter Biden's legal team now intends on using in his defense. According to at least one source, the Hunter Biden legal team has already informed the Department of Justice that if he is indicted under lying on a Form 4473, that is the exact legal challenge that they intend on raising. Now, if you think the irony is going to be enough, consider this too. The Biden administration, if the Hunter Biden legal team does in fact use this horrific case that came out of that renegade Supreme Court to defend himself of these charges, which, by the way, I'm saying that anybody, even Hunter Biden, has the right to challenge the constitutionality of a law if it is in fact unconstitutional. So I'm not saying he doesn't have a right to make these challenges. He most certainly does. His legal team would be stupid if they did not, okay? But what this also creates for the president is this real political conundrum, because see, he's relying on groups like Everytown and the other Bloomberg groups and the Giffords and all of those other socially active, politically active groups that are out there to strip us of our inalienable rights. He relies upon them for political support. And what is that going to do if all of a sudden the Hunter Biden legal team is using a case that every one of those organizations decried the moment the opinion was published? Now, of course, all of this is contingent upon Hunter Biden actually being charged, and candidly, the way the wheels of justice have turned so far, I would not hold my breath. But if in fact he is, expect his legal team to make what I believe are appropriate legal challenges, but they will be made under a case that his dad, the President of the United States, decried its very existence. Listen, you may have more questions about this or anything else related to your Second Amendment rights. You guys should know how to contact Washington Gun Law by now, but if you don't, that's okay, because that information is right down there in the description box. In the meantime, I do want all of you to remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation, how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching. Stay safe.